don't want to bring any more attention to myself than absolutely necessary. Wow, there's a lot less distance between me and the traffic than I thought. Yeah, I'm just a little concerned about people seeing that. Hi guys, I'm here again for another stealth camp. I'm just outside the Sainsbury's in Biggleswade, and just behind me over there, I'm sure you can see the Sainsbury's petrol station. I'm going to head down the road there and see if I can't find a place to camp. I don't want to bring any more attention to myself than absolutely necessary. Once I get a bit further down away from the petrol station, I may well turn my light on and give you guys a better look at what's going on, but for now, I just need to get past the petrol station, and to my left here, you can see the Household Waste and Recycling Centre. Up ahead, you can probably make out the lights of the A1 there. Wow, there's a lot less distance between me and the traffic than I thought. Oh my Lord. Well, it's definitely wet down here, but it's flat. This is already quite far from the recycle centre, which is good news. Obviously, I don't want to get too near the road either. Yeah, so this is the spot, guys. Let's give you a little look around. It's pretty tight in here, but I'm happy enough. You can hopefully see how close I am to the A1 here. I'm going to try and set things up as best I can, and I'll be with you soon. Not a moment too soon, guys. The rain has literally started up again, and I've got the tent up. The vestibule's creating quite a nice little shelter, and the sleep system is in. So yeah, it's a nice little spot. I think I'm just going to leave the tent open like that. I don't see any problems like that. I don't think anyone's going to come in here nosing around. Just going to leave it open, and I'll come back in a little bit. For now, I need to find my way back out, which is not as easy as... That's easier said than done. Which way did I come in? Did I come around here? I think maybe so. Where did I come down? Oh my God, I can't figure out where I was. This looks like a good path up anyway. As you can probably make out, it's really dark behind me. There's really no lights down there at all. So I don't imagine there's going to be that many people coming and going through that spot. Should be interesting in the morning, I guess. The workers from the Waste and Recycle Centre are going to be about relatively early, but we'll see how it goes, really. As you can probably tell, that is not a big walk from Sainsbury's. I'm literally 1 minute away from it, and that's with climbing through all the bushes and whatnot. So yeah, this is pretty cool, being right next to the Sainsbury's where I can just buy whatever I need, and I don't have to carry it miles. Right, well, obviously I'm not going to film in Sainsbury's. I'm just going to head in now and get what I need. And I'll catch up with you guys once I've got all my supplies. Hi guys, I'm back in there. Whoa. Police going by. Just hide the light for a second while they do. I don't imagine they're going to be fussed with me, but... So yeah, back at the tent, I've got everything I need to get cracking. I couldn't get any charcoal from the Sainsbury's garage, which was a bit unfortunate, but at the end of the day, it is off season. So instead, I managed to get some of this kindling, which should be really nice sized pieces, hopefully, for inside of my fire pit. And I got all of the food that I could possibly need. I managed to get the most important stuff, obviously, and then just some bread, chicken, cheese, and a few drinks. Just a good helping of stuff, really. Time to get the stove out, or fire pit, I should say. Do you know, I'm just going to keep calling it a stove probably, because that's just what goes through my head. So hopefully this time I can give you a bit of a better view. I've got my 360 camera with me, which means I can figure this out in the edit. On the last video, I managed to mess up and not get this in the frame that well, as some of you may have noticed. I just slide them together like so. Ooh. And just do the same again. There we have it. I'm trying to get my hands too dirty, but I can always wash them if need be. That's something I forgot. I forgot to get some water. I want to poach some eggs in the morning for breakfast, and I forgot to get some. I can always pop back down in the morning, can't I? That is one of the absolute best things about stealth camping in an urban area like this. I've got access to whatever I need, really. So yeah, that's brilliant. The plan then is to put this, and I guess this one at the bottom, and I'm going to cook on this one today. Yep. So should only really need 4 of these today. I think I'll still peg it to the ground, I guess. Yeah, so just literally, here we go, simple as that. And then just place them down and in. Hopefully you guys can see that. So just peg that down there, and here as well. And then just put these top ones in too, ready to put the grill in when I want to put it in. I don't want to be faffing about with these when the fire's in here. There we go. Right. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the box. Make up some little cardboard logs. Oh, it's really good to be out, actually. It really is. Let's take a little bit more of that. I don't want to go mad here because I don't want to make a huge fire. I think the fire would be very visible from the road, and I don't want people getting weird about it. But this should be okay. What I might do is just put the box there just to block any line of sight. Yeah, it's pretty good. The tent's going to block it from the people coming behind me, and the people coming from that way, the box will block their view, and we should be good. So let's get cracking, really. It's a particularly calm night tonight, and the rain has stopped, which is brilliant. I thought that was going to be really wet all night long, but there we go. Let's see what that smoke wants to do. Is it going to come in the tent, or is it going to just go up? Look at that, lovely size. And I've put it out. No, it's still going. That's a real cheat, that is, but I guess this is the idea of urban stealth camping. I don't have to worry about ultralight gear and what is it going to carry, what do I have to carry, and this, that, and the other. Obviously, when I'm out on big trips, I'm not carrying wood with me, and I'm just going to be chopping up some found woods and making use of that, but having the kiln dried stuff that's going to burn really clean, that's going to be nice actually. Now the road's got a lot of noise, and I'm not used to that when I'm camping, but I'm sort of used to a little bit of noise when we're parking up in certain places in the van, so I don't think that's going to be a problem for me sleeping. I think actually it's not too bad. I think for some people that would be an awful noise to just have going by, but it's akin to having a river there really. So, but that's really nice, just having everything on hand and just being able to get what I need. And like as I said, I've forgotten the water, but I can just go back to the garage and buy a bottle of water in the morning. Wow. I don't have to go find a stream or river and filter it and do all that nonsense. So yeah, really, really happy with that. And to be fair, yeah, it's just, I might even take the tent down from there because it's not, well, there you go. Only thing is that's now made the fire more visible from that way. Yeah, I think we're fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around and have the, that's it. We've got like lorries going by. Well, that wood's lasting a long time actually as well. I guess that's the benefit of hardwood. Yeah, I'm just a little concerned about people seeing that. I don't know what I can really do about that though. I think the box was a good idea. Yeah, that's about the best I'm going to do really. So one thing I want to do with this is experiment with the size of the holes to try different amounts of airflow. I do think I've probably got a few more than I need here. But at the same time, that's creating a nice, clean burn, which is something I really do like to have. It's awful dealing with smoke when you're having just a standard sort of campfire and you're not doing it in a stove or fire pit. That's kind of the idea of having a pit, is to make it a cleaner burn. So in some ways, the holes are doing exactly what I want them to do. But if I could have a way to shut them down once I've got the fire going and all of the impurities have burned away and I've just got my embers, and I can just slow it down and get it to a nice cooking temperature where it's a nice long slow burn, that would be pretty cool. And I think I could come up with a way to do that. Maybe some kind of wrap around with the same holes in the same position, so I can just sort of slide it around to cover them or not. I don't really know. I'm going to have a think about it. If you guys have got any ideas of how I can adjust this and what I should try next, do let me know in the comments. I'm all ears for that sort of thing. And obviously I've got plenty of titanium foil left to mess about with and trial different versions of this. So I'm going to just enjoy the fire for a little bit, guys, and maybe have a few of my treats before dinner. It's a bit naughty, but that's how I roll. I'll see you guys in a bit once this has died down and I'm ready to do a little bit of cooking. I don't know if you guys can make much out at the moment. I've got the fire really low and I've got all my lights off. There's somebody at the recycle centre. I don't know if it's somebody locking up or somebody just messing around over there. But there's a lot of noise all of a sudden. Like somebody opening and closing the gate maybe. I can't see any activity. I can only hear it. I don't really want to go over and have a look because that's going to give me away really easily. So I'm just going to be really quiet. I've put the box between the fire and where the gate is. And I've just made sure there's no sort of line of sight. And with all my lights off, hopefully that's enough that they won't see me, whoever they are. Yeah, there's still noise. I'm not sure what is going on. Oh. No, it wasn't the recycle centre. That was somebody opening and closing the gate over there to get a car through. That road's still used. What on earth? Good news is they're gone though now. They've obviously done the gate and then driven off. That's why they took so long and why there was all that noise. That was crazy. Okay, I can turn the light back on now. There we go. Right. Let's turn that down a little bit. It doesn't need to be that bright. Oh. There we go. That is weird. Maybe there's some houses through there or something, but yeah. So the gate that I had to go through to get onto that sort of abandoned road, or what I thought was an abandoned road, what I heard must have been him opening the gate, moving his car through, and then closing the gate behind him, because he's just driven, or I say he or she, I don't know who it was, whoever they were, they've now driven their car that way. Hopefully that's the only time I see them this evening. But I've got to just go for it now. I've got to get the fire built back up again. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Well, just got to give it a little bit of air. Just let that get going. Jesus. There we go. Yeah, that was some really awkward timing. They turned up just when the fire was ready for me to cook my chicken. But to be fair, I'm not too fussed. I've just reloaded it with some wood. It's taken no time at all to get cracking again. So I'll just enjoy some more of the fire. And this time, hopefully I will see you when I'm cooking, rather than when some madness like that is happening. Holy moly. That was so unexpected. Why was somebody driving up that road? Whatever, I guess I'll just see you guys in a little bit. Well, I'm ready to cook, guys. The heat on that is absolutely perfect. So here's where I try to mangle this thing into the stove with it going. This is probably the hardest part of the job, but there you go. In. Got to be a little bit forceful, but it helps to have it pegged into the ground, and I can sort of push it around quite a bit. But that is a really nice cooking temperature. So I'm just going to quickly throw on some of my spices to flavour the chicken a bit. That's plenty. I'll just use the tongs to rub that in a little bit. There we go. Just going to throw that one on. Throw that on. I think, yeah, 3 breasts will probably do that. And that's a lot of heat there. As long as it lasts for a decent amount of time, this should be good. But if not, I can reload that with a bit of wood. But hopefully this will cook pretty quick. I'm gonna maybe turn them. Yeah, they need a little turning. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. That is cooking. That is not an insignificant amount of heat coming off that fire. That is good. Just heat up the end of the tongs to make sure I've got no uncooked chicken juice on them. Make sure that they get heated up. Yeah. Yeah, it's still hot enough to cook. I don't have long left with that though, I feel. Hopefully I have long enough to cook these. It's still very, very hot. It's just doesn't look like much wood down there, but it's still producing so much heat. Looks like they've picked up the flavours fairly nicely. It's pretty simple. I'm just going to whack this into a sandwich basically. So this doesn't have to be amazing. These are just going to get sliced up and popped between some bread with a little bit of cheese, a little bit of fresh parsley. It'd be beautiful. That's all we need. I've essentially put some, I've kept the flavours in this really simple as usual. It's my go-to mix really, just salt, black pepper and paprika in relatively even mix, maybe a little bit more paprika than the rest if you like that. I sometimes mix it up and do other spices, but that is definitely my go-to mix, just salt, pepper and paprika. It makes for a really nice simple sort of flavour that goes with a lot of different things. If I'm pre-mixing my spices for a trip and I'm now going to use them on different stuff, like I might use it on salmon and chicken, then something like that is going to be way more versatile than something with too many spices that gets too complex. And I find just those three things make almost any meat taste better. I think you've got to have some level of flavour on your chicken. Yeah, these are looking pretty done. There's still a lot of heat there. That's worked out bang on. Look at that. It's working a treat. It is working a treat. Not sure it's cooked all the way through yet though. I'm thinking that there's still a bit of time to go with that. I'd like to be able to cover it, which I possibly could. I've got a, yeah, look at that. I could potentially cover this. I had not thought of that until just then. Why not cover it? This is my, yeah, that's going to really keep the heat in on those. But yet it's not so wide that it doesn't allow the air to flow around the outside, so that obviously it's not going to choke up the fire or anything like that, but yet it's going to contain that heat even more. That's really going to help cook the chicken through. Oh, that's beautiful. That is all you need. That's exactly how you need it to happen. That's it. Oh, that is brilliant. I'm really chuffed with that. And the addition of just putting that on the top's going to make sure that's cooked through nicely. But it's going to stay real tender now. That's going to cook at just the right pace, I'd say. Just wish the rain had stayed its hand. I'm going to get up now and put the side of my vestibule back over the top of me to try to keep me covered. And I'll see you guys in a bit once I've finished making my sarnie, I guess. That's my first sarnie. Oh. Mm. Mm. Oh yeah. Oh, the parsley really makes that. Mm. Oh, it's got everything. Mm. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm. Look at that. I'll tell you who else likes signies like this. My boys. They love when I do a good signie like this with them on the camp. Comment below if you would like to see me bring the boys out and us all get ourselves some nice signies and have a bit of an adventure. It wouldn't be a stealth camp like this in an urban area. I don't think this is appropriate for the lads. We'd probably head ourselves up into the hills, into the woods or something, and have a nice time with it. Yeah, this is as good as it gets. Well, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this, guys, and I'll see you in a little bit. Well, it's time to hunker down for the evening. I'm going to be closing up the tent and having a few treats after what was a lovely dinner. And I'll probably watch a little bit of An Idiot Outdoors. Check out his latest video in the description. He's well worth a watch. He's a great chap. He's really genuine, and his stealth camps are hilarious and great fun to watch. So check him out. But yeah, I'll see you in the morning. Have a good night. Morning, guys. It's a chilly one, as you can probably tell. You can see my breath. But yeah, it was a good night overall. I slept really well. I woke up a couple of times to the sound of some people going by. So obviously that path is used more than I was expecting. Yeah, I've looked on Google Maps and it does appear that there's a house at the end of this road. So somebody obviously lives down there and has to open up that gate in order to get to their home. So that is really random, just one house. And what a ball ache to have to go through that gate every time you want to drive in and out of your home, basically. That is that is some gate to have to go to. Well, I'm going to get cracking for the morning. I need to get down to the petrol station to get some water, and then I'm going to get a fire going and poach myself some eggs. But on the way, I guess I can let you guys see a better look at the campsite. So it's been a cold morning, but the sleep system has done its job. It's certainly not as nice as it was on the last camp when I was in the freezing conditions. Weirdly, that was way warmer feeling, at least around the tent. I think partly it was because it was drier. It's very damp out here, and that just makes me feel the temperature a lot more. There's so much humidity in the air, but as well, I think I'm just more exposed. There's certainly a lot more airflow coming through here, so yeah, it's kind of a weird phenomenon. It's certainly not that cold, but it feels so much colder than that camp. So yeah, I'm starting to get a bit cold actually, just standing here chit-chatting away. So let's get moving, and I'll show you around a little bit. So obviously the campsite, and then just over here is the A1. It's not a motorway at this point. It turns into a motorway some miles up that direction, but yeah, it's still pretty busy. It's still a very busy road. And that didn't slow down one bit in the evening or overnight, as far as I can tell. That has just had constant traffic the whole time. But I don't seem to have drawn any attention, even though I can see the cars really clear from here. Obviously, they're travelling at speed and pay attention to the road, so they're not really looking over here for me. Otherwise, I'd be pretty obvious. I think if there was a footpath there, I'd stick out like a sore thumb to anyone walking by. But there is, however, a footpath just over this direction. As I said, there's a few people walking by in the evening. Certainly heard some voices a couple of times. Yeah, so this is where we were. I'm gonna head to Sainsbury's and get that water. So I have to come through here. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock at the moment, and that recycling centre opens at 9. The petrol station should already be open. So yeah, I don't know if there's going to be anybody about in the recycling centre yet. I don't know how early they get in before opening time, but here comes somebody. They're going for the petrol station, that's good. So as you can see, guys, I was not far from this at all. I'm literally just in the trees here. So just in the trees over there, that's where I am. And then you've got the household waste and recycling centre here. And then just ahead of me is the Sainsbury's petrol station, which is this morning's target, just to pick up a bottle of water so I can poach some eggs. Looks to be a nice day. Some blue sky up above me. It's just really cold. I don't know if you can see this, but whew, it's a very cold one. It's even colder out here than it was in there. Can't wait to get the fire on. It's going to warm me up. Right, well, I'm going to leave you here, guys, and I'll meet you back at camp once I've got this water. Yeah. Put the lid on that, help it boil. Yeah. So the hope here is to boil the water while the flame's quite high, poach the eggs, and then if it times out, I should have some heat left over to toast some of the bread, and that'll be bang on. So a little bit of orange juice to go with the breakfast. Very nice. Oh yeah, lovely. How are we doing? Oh yeah, that's going to time out just nice, I think. So I got the freshest eggs that they had in Sainsbury's yesterday. I find if they've got at least 18 days on the best before date, that means they were laid relatively recent and so will poach pretty well. But these had even more of a longer date than that, so I'm really hoping these are going to poach really nicely. Yeah, that's starting to bubble. When I do the next version of this, I think one adjustment I make is to have the sides just a bit longer, just so that things fit in a little bit less tightly. I think I was a bit overkill with that. Oh, there we go. That's bubbling. Put that there. If anything, that's probably too much heat. That can be controlled. Yeah. Put that. So the trick here, I guess, is timing this right. I need 3.5 minutes to poach these with a decent heat, and then I'm going to want to toast the bread. So yeah. pre-crack that one ready. And we'll get them in quick succession. I don't want it going crazy. Oh, that just literally boils like immediately in the bottom. The pan is so thin. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, it's a pretty proud egg. I'm not unhappy with that. Yeah, a bit of vinegar in the water would have been a bonus, but we make do. Yeah, just need to get that back up to temperature, so I'll use that. And it's a 3-minute timer on now. That should give me time enough to poach these. Yeah, look at that, bubbling through nice. That's what I want to see. Nice. Now normally I just have some black pepper on my eggs. I don't just have black pepper with me today, but what I do have is a little bit leftover mix. So salt, black pepper and paprika. Should work fine. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to leave the lid off now. That helped just get it back to temperature, but now it's probably a bit too crazy. Oh, that's going to be really lovely actually. I'm going to have just the right amount of heat left to toast the bread. How many slices do I want? I normally do a couple, but or one big fat one. This is pre-sliced, so it's a bit thin. Yeah. I'll just do one. I think one slice is probably going to be enough for the morning. So I've got that ready to go. Would like to fat a slice. That is slowing down, so I'll put the lid back on. That's a good way to control your heat, is with a lid. You can have it on, off, or partly on. A lot of people will tell you can't control things with a wood fire that well, but it just takes a bit of skill. And that comes from experience, really. Not a lot of people, I feel, give it a fair shot and actually try to learn with it. I've done a lot of cooking on wood fires in all different kind of formats. I've got a big fire pit at the allotment where I burn a lot of stuff, and I've had a few fires on there. It's a very big fire pit, and actually, because it's quite deep, it's a really nice way to cook food because I've got a really high platform above the fire. But you can get it down small like this. Obviously, the smaller you go, the harder it is. That's basically the general rule with that sort of thing. But yeah, just a little bit of experience, really. Just keep trying at it until you kind of get the skills, really, and the talent for it. See, that's already got that back up to a nice rolling boil. But I think having the lid all the way on is too much, so I will just put the lid on like that. I'll bring you guys down so you can get a better view. So yeah, you just control the heat. You just keep that lid on, but just crack a little bit. Now I can see inside, and I can see that it's just got a little rolling boil. And there's the timer. So just need to get those eggs off. Yeah, they're looking pretty poached. I'll get you guys back up first so that you've got a good view. There we go. So yeah, that's the eggs. So I just need to get them out. One thing I forgot to bring was some cutlery, but I have my knife and I think I can make it work. think the first thing to do is get rid of some of the water, which is going to be done just by doing this. Can't have the eggs in there for much longer, otherwise they'll get messed up. So we'll get the eggs into here. Oh, I've cut it. Oh, that's okay. Try again. Just put it up the side. No, the knife has cut that one too. That's all right. There we go. We don't need a huge amount of egg. There you go. Poached eggs. Runny middle. But all the whites should be cooked. So, lovely. So while they just sit there and cool down a little bit, I'm going to just toast up my bread. Should have plenty of heat for that. Yeah, it's not going to go quick, but it'll go. So my thoughts on this are, as I don't have a knife and fork with me, I'm just going to smash these onto the toast and just have it like that. So, yeah, it should work fine. I think I can hear someone over there at the gates to the recycling centre. Deliberately get some of the ash off. Oof. Oof. That'll help heat this up just a little bit. Yeah, the heat's dying off now. Just take some scrapings of this butter. Toast should be warm enough to melt that in a little bit. I'll be generous with this. Why not? Oh, that sun's coming out. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's the way to start the morning, guys. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, that's great, that is. Oh, what a way to do it. There we go. Just a little bit at a time. There's no rush here. Okay. So let's get the egg on and get that one on too. Right. I'm just going to cut that little stringy bit off. There you go. Now Henry likes his eggs slightly different. He likes to smash his yolk onto the toast, but he'll eat his whites separately, which is not quite what I'm doing here. But it does remind me of that a little bit. Normally I just cut mine up and have it. Oh, don't lose the yolk. Normally I just cut mine up and eat it with a knife and fork, but needs must this morning. Breakfast will be done like so. Oh, wait. Nearly forgot. A little bit of flavour. Carefully does it. Don't want to go crazy. That's happened before. I've accidentally dumped out a ton of it onto my food, and then that's not so nice. There we go. Breakfast of champions, guys. Mm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, those some good eggs. Mm. Mm. It works. Mm. Oh, that works, guys. The paprika. Yeah. Don't normally have that at all, but that does work. Look at that. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. So a quick shout out to all you guys who have been commenting and have been subscribed for a while now. Yeah, there's a few of you, and you know who you are. I really appreciate the comments. They've been fantastic to hear. But more of you should be commenting. So get your thumbs working and let me know what you think about the videos. And let me know what you think about the stove or fire pit. And tell me if you've got any ideas as well about what you'd like to see me doing, because I'd really love to hear it. I really do. Mm. Well, guys, that's breakfast done with. So it's time to pack away, clear everything up, and make sure I leave no trace. But you guys don't need to watch me packing away and tidying up, do you? So I'm going to say goodbye here. It's been a pleasure having you along with me. So I hope to see you next week for another adventure. But for now, you take care. Have a good week.